now tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G.
All right. Welcome back to the show. You're listening to The Truth with G, WPMM online radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham. You know me as G. Once again, we are back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. Hope all is well with everyone. Hope all is well. Hope you're doing great today. It's a hot day out there today. It's still hot outside, so I hope you're still taking care of yourself in this heat. But I hope you had a great day today. Hope you had a great week. It is Thursday. It is Thursday, the day after hump day, the day before the weekend. And hope you had a prosperous first part of your week, and I hope you end the week even better. And want to thank you for joining me once again right here on WPMM Online Radio, where I am here every Monday and Wednesday. I'm sorry, I keep saying Wednesday. I started out the show on Wednesdays. We're here every Monday and Thursday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And once again, thank my listening audience, because I would not be here if it wasn't for you. I have the greatest audience in the world, and I tell everybody that. And you know, it was interesting. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, and I came out of the well, it wasn't really a doctor's appointment. I had to do some blood work this morning, and there were people standing in line waiting to be checked in or whatever, and I was sitting over in the cut, and I kind of noticed, a couple people kind of looking at me or whatever the case may be. So I really didn't pay no mind. So I went on back, got my blood work done, came out. Young lady stopped me, and she said, "I enjoy watching your show." And I had to thank her, and I promise you, I forgot her name. I asked her name, but I forgot her name, and I apologize. I am terrible with names. I forgot her name. But I asked her what her name was, and I thanked her for listening, and, let her know I was going to be on tonight as well. So, when people come up to you like that and let you know that they appreciate what you do, that's the best feeling in the world, because I do this for you guys. I don't do this for me. This time doing something else, but I prefer to be here with you guys, and I thank you guys for being here with me. So, Miss Minnie Watkins is on Facebook with us. Good to see you, Miss Minnie. Hope you're having a great day today. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and share. We are WPMM Online Radio. We're under the Change and Rise Media Group LLC umbrella, if you will. We are WPMM, where we play more music. We play the best in R&B, jazz, neo, soul, talk, independent hip hop, old school music. You can listen 24/7 on WPMM. You can go to WPMMradio.com to listen from the website, or you can download the app from the Google Play Store, the Apple Store, depending on what device that you have. You can tell Alexa to play. You can also just listen from the website. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. So we have a bunch of different platforms you can listen to the show from. So, and the views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts are their own and does not reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to align with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. All right, now that we got that out the way. But once again, it's Thursday, the day after hump day, the day before the weekend. It's hot out there, people. Make sure you're taking care of and looking out for the elderly people, because, oftentimes they might not have the central air and heat. So we want to make sure that they are being taken care of, if you will. Make sure they're cool. Make sure they're hydrated. Have enough cold water, cold drinks, Gatorade, if you will, whatever is needed to stay warm. Stay cool. And if you have to, get them, if their house is too hot, they don't have the proper cooling, get them out of the house. Take them somewhere where they're cool. So, but it's hot out there. This heat wave is unprecedented, and it's just another sign that global warming is real. Global warming is real. This is probably the hottest summer on record, and next summer is going to be even worse. So just prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. We have to get a grip on this ozone depletion, and we have dumbass Republicans that don't believe it's true. They don't believe in the science. So that's why we have to get out and vote and get these idiots out of office, so we get some people with some common damn sense in office, so we can get some things done. So on today's show, we are taking your comments in the comment section. If you're listening on Facebook, once again, go ahead and share if you're on Facebook. We're going to talk about a few things because there's been a few things on my mind, and we're going to try to get to all of them. Every time I say I'm going to talk about a few things, I get to one or two of them and don't get to everything. But I'm trying to get to everything today if I can. But going to talk about dumbass DeSantis, and that's my name for him, dumbass DeSantis. He has added another feather in his racist hat, and I'll tell you about that as far as what he did on that aspect of things. Also, in Michigan, 16 fake electors were charged. And when we talk about fake electors, I don't know if you're keeping up with it in the news cycle, but that's part of the conspiracy to steal the last election, the 2020 election. We'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about Trump again with his third indictment, with his fourth coming up soon out of the state of Georgia. But we still have dumbass people that continue to support him. He is still leading in the poll in the Republican Party. We'll talk about that. I also want to talk about police brutality, because I am so sick and tired of seeing policemen, bad policing, and idiots doing stupid shit, and especially when they're violating the rights and the racial profile and things of that nature. I am so tired of seeing the videos. We'll talk about that as well. Also, I want to touch and reality shows. I want to touch on reality shows as well, because my wife was watching some crap last night, and it's embarrassing. So we'll talk about these reality shows. Are they selling out their soul for a couple of dollars? Are they selling their integrity for a few dollars? We'll talk about that as well. Also, what else we have? Oh, today was we'll touch on some local stores as well. Also, today was the first day of school in Escambia County, Santa Rosa County. First day of school, so the young ones are back in school. The traffic is probably picked up a bit. Every time that school starts, the traffic gets a little heavier. So we must be vigilant in what we are doing in the mornings and in the afternoons, because of the added traffic on the roads. Also, we need to look out for our kids, because we have kids standing at bus stops. We have kids crossing streets to get to bus stops and things of that nature. So pay attention to what you're doing. Don't be driving and texting and on Facebook and this, that, and other, and not paying attention to what you're doing, because one of these little kids can be out. And please don't speed through these neighborhoods. I see idiots all the time speeding down the street and knowing that there's kids out there. So don't do that. Don't be an asshole. Please don't be an asshole. And watch out for these kids. Also, parents. Let me give a little thing about parents. With school starting, let me talk to the parents just for a second. We have a teacher shortage in Escambia County. I'm assuming it's statewide because of the bullshit that DeSantis has placed upon our education system, to where teachers are scared to be sued for teaching, or for saying something to a child, or for calling a child whatever nickname they want to be charged. We have got a shortage of teachers. And it's that way here in Escambia County, where we're broadcasting from, Pensacola, Florida. We have a shortage of teachers. So the schools are having to adjust. They're having to adjust class sizes and things of that nature to accommodate for the shortage of teachers. Parents, I need you to help make these teachers' jobs easier. They're already stressed out. They're already underpaid. Uh, they're overworked. Their expectations of what they need to do are set high in regards to getting their kids through whatever grade level they are teaching. And for you parents, I need you to be parents and get your children right. Don't send your kids to school and knowing that they're going to be a disruption. If they're disrupting your house, 9 times out of 10, they're going to disrupt that school, that classroom. If you know you have a disruptive child, if you know that you can't handle your child and they act up at home, they're going to act up at school. So if you got one of those children that you can't handle and you can't discipline and you can't keep them at home, homeschool. Because there are kids that are in school that want to learn. There are teachers that are there in the schools that want to teach. And if your child is there and they are disrupting and they're causing that teacher to take their focus off of the curriculum and what the class is doing to tend to your child as acting a damn fool, it's taken away from the education of everybody else in that class. So get your kids right. And when your child act up and you know your child for you parents who know your child gonna act up, don't be surprised when the teacher call you about your kid acting up. Don't jump on that teacher because she called you about your child acting up. He or she called you. Handle your business at home so your kids will go to school and act like they're supposed to act. Miss Saber is on. How you doing this evening, Miss Saber? Good to see you on here today. Good to see you. I'm trying to read the comment, but I can't see. Say good evening. How are you doing? I am doing great, Miss Saber. I'm as good as can be, and I'm not going to complain. Not going to complain. So, but anyway, kids are back in school. A lot of things going on. Be vigilant. Parents, be parents. Make sure your kids are doing what they're supposed to do in school so these teachers can have a successful school year. We're praying for these teachers. We're praying for these children. I'm praying for these parents to make sure that to give them the guidance that they need to send them off with their children as they embark on this school year. So, all right, let's talk about let's stay here in the state of Florida here real quick. Let's talk about DeSantis real quick. And DeSantis, we all know DeSantis is an asshole. He's a wannabe dictator. He's a racist. He's trying to whitewash Black history, if you will. He is doing everything in his power to make Florida a white state. He has ran off all the migrant workers. He ran off all the Hispanic workers, as they ran in fear of being detained and locked up and deported and this, that, and the other, because DeSantis is an asshole. He's an evil asshole. So DeSantis' latest racist move. He removed a attorney general from her post, from her job. An attorney general that was an elected official. She won the election by 62% of the vote. She got 62% of the vote. The people picked her, elected her to serve in this position. And because DeSantis don't like Black people, yesterday he suspended this district attorney. Or state attorney, if you will, not district attorney, state attorney. So, and I'm just going to try to read a little bit of the story here to give you the background on what dumbass devil DeSantis is doing. there's a couple of articles. I'm trying to read this one here. It says Governor DeSantis' ouster of Central Florida's prosecutor Monique Worrell is inflaming concerns about a broader effort to revamp the judicial circuits. I don't want that story. Yes, I do, because it actually gets into the second part of it as well. Because the reason why he removed her is to for the dumbass Republicans to gain control of the judicial system in Florida. So I will stay with this story here. Okay. The ouster of Central Florida prosecutor Monique Worrell is inflaming concerns about a broader effort to revamp Florida's judicial circuits. Fearing is aimed at further consolidating power under the state's Republican leadership. Worrell's suspension Wednesday by DeSantis followed his removal last year of Hillsborough County State Attorney Andrew Warren, a twice elected Democrat. Only 4 state attorneys who ran for the election as Democrats now remain across Florida circuits. Let's see. I'm sorry, y'all. Worrell was the state attorney for Orange County, Osceola counties, and the only black woman serving as an elected Florida prosecutor. Review underway could prelude the GOP-controlled legislature changing and consolidating Florida judicial boundaries, a move viewed by critics as intended to enhance party control of our court system. So yeah, this is a effort to control the courts, just like in the federal level they have the Supreme Courts. DeSantis is making moves that do that on the state level as well. It's nothing short of an attempt to gerrymander, allowing Republicans to place voters where they want them in a specific area they want them to be in. State Representative Ashley Gant, a Miami Democrat. But it's only Democrat lawmakers questioning the idea. Polk County State Attorney said Brian has a Republican is voicing caution about the proposed retooling of just judicial boundaries. So he removed State Attorney Worrell, a black woman who was duly elected, that was placed in that position by the citizens of her state, if you will. And if I lose you on Facebook tripping. Facebook always going to trip on me. So if I lose you on Facebook, go to WPMMradio.com or download the app, WPMM Radio. The app is in the Google Play Store and the App Store. But I see it every time I start talking about DeSantis, Facebook start tripping. So if I go out on Facebook, go to the app or go to WPMMradio.com. So, but this attempt by DeSantis is strictly to gerrymander. And when we talk about gerrymandering, what that is drawing district lines to where it favors one particular party, where basically that you can equate it to trying to stack votes, if you will, because these state races are sectioned off into districts. You vote according to your district, according to your region, what have you, and they're trying to draw the lines on these on the areas where the elections to be held, to where they include a large population of basically white people. I say it like it is. I was going to say Republicans, but white people. And if they can change the boundaries in regards to our judicial system and regards to our voting districts, if they can change the lines to include more white people in some of these more dominant minority districts, they can take over those districts. Therefore, we would not have any black representation on the federal level, on the state level, because of gerrymandering, which is a only racists and sick individuals try to do stuff like this. So because they don't want equality amongst us as a people, if you will. So with this move, DeSantis removing this state attorney, he removed another state attorney a year or so ago as well. And that one was based on religion. But in regards to this black woman that's was in that position, he started trying to cherry pick, if you will. And if you ever been on a job where you're doing a good job and all of a sudden you've been doing a good job since you've been on the job, and all of a sudden you have one particular supervisor or manager or whatever, and that supervisor starts nitpicking and start picking on you and start saying you're not doing this and you're not doing that, and everybody else is saying, what are they talking about? You are doing this, you are doing that. That's what happened to this young lady in her district, if you will. Crime is down. People are being prosecuted accordingly. And what this young lady is doing as a prosecutor, a state prosecutor, she is prosecuting cases that deal with corrupt police officers, white police officers, where they're being prosecuted on corruption against black people. DeSantis don't like that. So now he's nitpicking and he's trying to find he was trying to justify his racism by making people think it was something other than what it was. So, and I'm looking for what he was saying. I have the NBC News is reporting on it as well. And that report says Ron DeSantis once again has suspended an elected local prosecutor as a move that comes as his presidential campaign struggles amid continued reset. DeSantis on Tuesday suspended Orlando area state attorney Monique Worrell, a Democrat who is the only black woman serving as a local prosecutor in Florida. It's the second time he has used this authority as a governor to take such action. He suspended Tampa area prosecutor Andrew Warren in August of 2022, signaling that he would not bring charges under federal new 15-week abortion ban. A federal judge called the decision unconstitutional, but he said cannot overturn the suspension. A challenge filed by Warren, later thrown out by the DeSantis-friendly Florida Supreme Court. So again, his efforts to control the courts is what's happening. Both Warren and Worrell's 2020 campaign received help from a committee that got money from Democratic mega donors. George Soros, a frequent target of Republican attacks and funding emails and speeches. DeSantis has boasted that he is the only elected official in America to remove a progressive Soros-funded district attorney, a reference to Warren's suspension. So he's bragging about what he's doing. He's bragging about being an asshole. He's bragging about being a racist. The DeSantis announcement during a hastily called press conference in Tallahassee, it included top law enforcement officials and a room packed with administrative staffers who were apparently given heads up the day before at the 8:15 a.m. conference. DeSantis alerted the media to an event less than 30 minutes before it began. The press conference was held one day after DeSantis' presidential campaign elevated by its gubernatorial chief of staff, Jane Untimer, so on and so forth. Anyway, DeSantis is a devil, a racist, an asshole, and a wannabe dictator. and he needs to be removed from the governorship, and he should not have a place in as an elected official anywhere. Someone who is doing such racist acts, if they were in the private sector and they were working for a private firm, they would be fired. But here's the scary part: we still have people that are supporting the BS. We still have DeSantis supporters out there, knowing that he's a racist. And 9 times out of 10, the people that supporting him are racist as well. I'm not saying they're all racist, but I guarantee you the majority of them are. So, and DeSantis would not be there. And I hate to go backwards. I promise you I hate to go backwards. DeSantis wouldn't be there if we got up and voted. And I know when Andrew Gillum ran against DeSantis, this is the first election before DeSantis became governor. When Gillum ran against him, we had good numbers, but we didn't have enough numbers to win, obviously. If we had gotten more people out to vote, DeSantis would not be in office because Gillum lost by a small margin. And I want to say in that particular election, 62%, somewhere around 60% of black population, black registered voters voted, which is great, is a high number of voters. It's higher than what it's normally been. So we know that we have people that are getting off their butts and going to vote. However, when you are outnumbered, when the Republican Party outnumber the Democratic Party, when white voters outnumber black voters, if that means that and I'm giving just random numbers here, if you will, that means that if 40% of white voters show up to vote, in order to balance that out, we need 80% of black voters and Democratic voters to show up. That's the only way that we're going to win in the state of Florida, because the state of Florida is a red state. We have more Republican voters than we do Democratic voters. We have more white people than we have black people. Just simple math. So if more black people had got out and voted, DeSantis would not be the governor today. The second election, when he ran against not Chris Christie, you know who I'm talking about. But anyway, the numbers in that election were not even that good. Because DeSantis took that by, I think he won that by like 20 points. So we really didn't show up for that election. But we have to show up and vote, people. We have people in places in these offices that has no business being there. And the only way that we're going to get rid of them is to vote and vote them out. But that's DeSantis' latest move. That is DeSantis' latest move. Let's move on. If you're just joining me here, if you're just joining me on Facebook, go ahead and share, if you will. If you're out there on Facebook, hit a thumbs up, hit a heart, do something. Let me know you're out there. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me address something, because I know if you're watching me on Facebook, you're probably looking at the little scenery I have. I got a little different scenery today. And if you notice on the background there's some folding chairs, a couple of folding chairs. And I put them on there on purpose as a symbolic gesture, if you will. And it's symbolic because of what that chair represents. And no, I'm not advocating any kind of violence or anything of that nature. That's not the symbolism that we're trying to portray in this particular matter. That particular lawn chair, where is it at? Yeah, this chair right here. That particular lawn chair, not a folding chair, if you will, symbolizes that we are not our ancestors. Again, that chair right there, it symbolizes that we are not our ancestors. It symbolizes that you cannot treat us any way you want to treat us and expect us not to do anything about it. It symbolizes the fact that when that chair showed up in Montgomery on August 5th, I think the date was, when that chair showed up in Montgomery, that chair symbolized years of oppression. It symbolized breaking the cycle of years of oppression and abuse. That particular chair, that folding chair, has symbolism. It has meaning behind it. And no, again, I'm not advocating any kind of violence. But that chair means that we are not our ancestors. And it's this saying that's going around, FAAFO. Fuck around and find out. FAAFO. It's been going around ever since that video surfaced on social media. We're not our ancestors anymore. We don't have to take the abuse. We don't have to take the oppression. We don't have to take the verbal abuse, the physical abuse, the ridicule, the fact that some race of people think that they're better than us. We don't have to accept that anymore. We don't have to stand idle when people are spitting in our faces and hitting us and throwing rocks at us and sicking dogs on us, and we don't have to remain idle, and we don't have to take that anymore. We can resist, and we can also fight back. So that's why I changed up my background today. It's symbolic. It's symbolic of what took place in Montgomery a few days ago. So, where we at? Let's talk about these. In Michigan, just to let you guys know, in Michigan, there were 16 people that were charged on federal crimes in regards to the 2020 election. These were 16 people who got documents claiming that they are the electors of that particular state. They were fake electors. They were assembled by the orange idiot, Donald Trump, to get together to conspire to steal the 2020 election. And each state has a group of electors. That's where this electoral college come in at, which we need to abolish, because the electoral college was put in place because of the slavery issue itself. We're not enslaved anymore, so why do we still have this process that came about because of slavery? Why is this process still active? But anyway, each state have a certain number of electors. And when it comes to, once you win a state, you win those electoral votes. Those votes has to be certified. And there are certified electors that sign off on those votes. It was supposed to sign off saying that Joe Biden was duly elected and did through the Electoral College, and we are certifying that Joe Biden is the new president. So, dumbass, the orange idiot came up, and him and his minions came up with this plan to overthrow the election, to undermine our democracy, our process in which we elect our officials. They got together in a secret meeting. They got these fake documents, and they signed these fake documents saying that they were electors when they were not. and they sent that fake documentation to Washington. And on the January 6th, that's the day that that's the day that Congress certified the electors. It certifies the votes in the Electoral College. So Trump's plan and all his minions, his plan was to get this fake sheet of electors to certify that he won the election. Which, when it came, like for instance, for the state of Michigan, there's 16 electoral votes. Those are so those electoral votes would have went to elect 16 people that signed as electors. Anyway, the electoral votes for that particular state would have went to Trump instead of going to Biden if this scheme had went through. So, but anyway, out of all the other people that has been prosecuted, that has been charged in and around the Trump circle, if you will, now we have 16 more dumbasses, 16 more cult members who are now facing federal charges and facing years in prison because they choose to follow a rapist, a racist, a homophobe, a xenophobe, a terrible person, an idiot. They put their livelihood on the line. They put their livelihood, their reputation, their morals on the line for someone who don't care nothing about them. And now they're being charged, and they will have to see what happens in regards to what comes next in their prosecution. So I guarantee you somebody's going to do some jail time behind that, because prosecutors don't go through all the evidence and do all that work for nothing. If they're going to go through the painstaking process of getting the evidence enough to where there's enough evidence to charge someone, they're not just doing that because they have nothing else to do. When they charge someone, they're charging someone because they want a conviction. They are charging someone because they have found that some illegal activity has taken place, and they are looking to hold the people accountable that perpetrated that illegal act, if you will. So that's what's going on in Michigan. So let's go. I was about to go to reality shows. I have a few topics here. I'm trying to get them all in today. Let's talk a minute about reality shows, and I want some feedback on this one. I really do, because I'm not understanding. I'm not understanding what's really going on. I'm not understanding the motive. I think I see the motive, and we're talking reality shows. I think I see the motive, but nobody's going to admit to it. And I just happened to be. I wasn't watching it. My wife had was it yesterday on TV. She was watching this. I think it's Love and Hip Hop. I think that's what it is. Love and Hip Hop, or something. Hip Hop Wives, or whatever it is. She was watching that yesterday. So by me being in the room with her, I was forced to watch it as well. And not saying that I have never watched a reality show, and I have, and I've tried not to watch them because of the degrading aspect of it. I watched part of one show, and this one show, I think it's called Love and Hip Hop. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. This one show that I watched, and I probably watched maybe 30 minutes of it. And the whole time, all I watched was our black queens, our black women bicker, fight, threaten each other, throw shit at each other, and they're doing this on national television. And I do know that with these reality shows, it's not it's not just where they're being followed around by cameras. It's somewhat scripted, even though it's about these people, so-called real lives or what have you, what have you. It's still a format. It's still a format as to how they will go about filming each episode. So 9 times out of 10, these people on these shows know in advance what is about to take place. And the end result is that we have a group of black people. There's men on these shows as well. So I'm not just singling out the women, but this particular show that I happened to watch, it was focused on the women. But I tell you that the fighting, the yelling, the name calling, it was absolutely ridiculous. It was embarrassing. And we know that we don't, I don't know who produced this show. I don't know who the CEO is. I don't know who is the quote unquote owner of this show. But I do know that these women and these men that get on these shows, on these reality shows, and act a damn fool and act like they don't have any common sense, act like they don't have any morals or any values of any sort, they're selling their soul to the devil. They're selling their self-respect for $1. And I know that, people looking to come up. I understand people looking to come up. They're looking for higher salaries in their jobs or whatever they're doing, whatever. I understand that. But do we do it at the risk of making ourselves look even worse than what our counterparts already portray us to be? Is that how we really want to do it? I mean, these ladies were at each other's throats the whole time, and I watched probably 30 minutes. I watched at least 30 minutes of this show. The whole time, they were bickering back and forth. They were fighting. They were throwing shit at each other. They was being held back from fighting. They were calling people bitches and this, that, and the other. And who's profiting from this? And I guarantee you, there's a white person that's sitting in the CEO chair, and there are white people that are around that particular person that are growing their pockets because we have black people who are willing to act an ass to make $1 to make someone else even richer. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? If you have a thought in regards to this reality show situation, put it in the comment section. Drop it in the comment section. What are your thoughts on reality shows? What do you think about them? Are they helpful? Are they harmful to our culture, to our community? Is there any benefit in it? Is it worth the entertainment value for us to degrade ourselves on national TV? Somebody hit me up. Somebody leave something in the comment section for me to talk about. Give me another point of view, because maybe I'm looking at it all wrong. Somebody else may have a point of view of it, a different point of view that we can explore. So drop your comment in the comment section. But I'm just sick and tired of seeing these reality shows with these black people on them, and they are just wilding out and they're doing stupid stuff and they fighting and they calling each other names and this, that, and other. It's just ridiculous. And to do this for the financial gain of someone who don't look like them, even makes it worse. So that's my take, but I'm still waiting on somebody to drop a comment in the comment section. Tell me what they think about these reality shows. And we're going to move on. We're going to move on to our next topic. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and share. It's not too late. We still have some time left in the show. Go ahead and share. Let's talk about these corrupt cops for a moment. Let's talk about police brutality. And I had kind of got away from it for a while. I had not talked about police brutality for a minute. But social media brings to light a whole bunch of stuff that we tend to want to push under the rug, that we tend not to want to talk about. And we tend to try to hide it. But every day, several times a day, I see a different video feed of a police officer either brutalizing someone or violating someone's civil rights or being racist or profiling black people, doing something that would put them in a category of being a rogue cop. Now, when Chip Simmons was elected sheriff of Escambia County here back in the 2020 election, me and Chip sat down and we had a couple we had a long conversation. We sat down in his office and we had a conversation in his office. And then after that, he came to the show and we had a conversation on the show. And some of the same things that I see, not saying that the Escambia County Sheriff Department is in these videos. I'm not saying that. I haven't seen any videos of the Escambia County Sheriff Department or what they're doing. But the videos that I'm seeing, Sheriff Simmons did not want to be in a situation where he find that his officers are doing these types of things. And I respect that. I believe good cops should be able to be good cops and do their jobs. I think bad cops need to be weeded out and prosecuted if they have violated somebody's rights or committed a crime. They need to be prosecuted and they need to be locked up amongst the criminals. Because once you are in a position of authority and you go out and you create your own laws and your own rules, and you try to implement your own laws and your own rules against tax-paying citizens, if you will, then you need to be jailed for doing such thing. And I expect for our Sheriff Chip Simmons, I expect for our police chief, Randall. I expect for him to hold his officers accountable for any wrongdoing that they may have done or are doing, and not that, depending on the situation, it's not that they should just be fired and slapped, that they should be slapped on the hand and given, a desk job for a day or two and then put back out on the streets. If they have the mentality where they want to be a rogue cop, they do not need to be a cop. We need not to give them a second chance to go out and violate someone else's rights, civil rights, constitutional rights, if you will. We should not give them a second opportunity to do that, because the first time that they do it, they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it knowing that they're violating these rights. They're doing it knowing that they're violating this law. They're doing it knowing that they are impeding on someone else's civil rights and their civil liberties, and they should be removed and not be able to come back to that particular agency or any other police agency where they are in a position of authority over anyone. But on this social media, I see video after video after video after video of these cops, these wannabe Hitlers, if you will, where they just doing what they want to do, especially against black people. And I'm not going to say it don't happen against white people because it does. But I can tell you the ratio is probably 95 to 5 or 90 to 10 in regards to how often black folks are harassed versus white folks. And this isn't anything that I'm not saying this to be, where somebody says, oh, that's a racist statement. No, that's reality. That's truth. That's truth. But the one way that we can combat the activity of these road cops is for us to be educated and know our rights. You should know what you can and cannot do if you're pulled over by the police officer. You should know what you can and cannot do if you're stopped on the streets and if you're stopped in a store and you should know your rights. One of the biggest rights, you have the right to remain silent, particularly in these traffic stops. You have the right to remain silent. You are not, by law, you are not obligated to answer any questions if a law enforcement officer asks you a question. If he asks you to produce a ID and an insurance card and a registration, you produce that ID and that insurance card and registration, you give it to him and you keep your mouth shut. When he start asking you dumb shit like where you going, where you coming from, where do you work and all that, that has nothing to do with that traffic stop. If he pulls you over, for running a red light, and he start asking you where you coming from, where do you live, where do you work, you don't have to say one word. You can either remain silent or you can just simply say, I don't answer questions. Nine times out of 10, they're going to piss the officer off. You're going to think you're a smart ass. But let them know, I don't answer questions. You got a job to do, officer, do your job. I don't ask questions. But you have to know your rights. You have to know your rights. Even if you're in a store situation, you have to know your rights. You cannot allow these road cops to continue to be rogue. And with the inception of these cell phones, they got these wonderful devices on them called cameras, where you can go live, where you can video at any point. You have that camera in the palm of your hands. Anytime that you come in contact with a officer, hit play, hit record, and record that interaction. It's probably preferably if you have a Facebook, log into Facebook and go live. That way people can see what is going on in real time. That way, if anybody needs to be notified, somebody on your Facebook, if they're on your Facebook page, they know you or know of you or what have you, and they may know somebody to contact is somebody else to get to you. But just know your rights, because I am tired of seeing these cops making up their own rules, making up their own laws, and just basically doing what they want to do to intimidate and violate the rights of law-abiding citizens. I had an incident where I kind of just went off on a cop because it pissed me off. And I wasn't in Scamby County. I was in Alabama at the time. And I had been in Alabama, in this particular city of Alabama, many times by this point. And those little tag covers that go over your tag that has a little tint to it. It's been on my vehicle for 3 years at this point. Never had an issue with it. Never been stopped, never been questioned, never been in nothing. Had plenty of police behind me to see what was going on. But this particular day, I felt like this particular officer saw who I was, what I looked like. And my wife was in the car as well. Um, one of our vehicles have some, pretty nice rims on it, if you will. He seen who was in the car. He seen the rims, and the next thing you know, let's find something to pull this guy over for. He didn't violate any traffic laws. He didn't run in lights. He wasn't speeding. He wasn't doing any of that. But let's find something. So I get pulled over for a freaking cover on my tag. And I wasn't so gracious with this particular cop. I went slap freaking off. But I was within my rights to do so. I made sure that everything that I said and everything I did was within my rights. I also videotaped it in case something ever came of it. And but I felt that my rights, I was profiled at that point in time because of who I was and what I was driving. So know your rights, people. We have to get a handle on these road cops and get them off the streets. Get them, they don't want to be cops. Don't sign up for the job. If you're scared of black people, don't be a law enforcement officer. So, but anyway, with that being said, it is bringing us to the top of the hour. It is time for me to get up out of here. It's been a week. I got one more day to hang in there and try not to go off at the day job, and head into the weekend and try to get some rest and relaxation. It's been a busy time for me. The last couple months just been busy for me. So I'm looking to have some rest and relaxation coming up sometime real soon. So, but the weekend is coming up. I want you to enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Be responsible. Don't do anything stupid, people, to get yourself in trouble. Be responsible. Be safe. It's hot out there. It's going to be a hot weekend. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Stay out the sun. Stay out the heat. And I want to see you back on Monday. So once again, thank you for joining me here tonight. I will be back on Monday, 6:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you join me then. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for your efforts and my endeavors in helping the homeless and helping families and things of that nature. I really do appreciate you guys. So you guys be safe, be blessed, and I am out of here.